Financial literacy is quite the buzzword right now, and I don't think many people know exactly what it is. And it's not about complicating your life with numbers and spreadsheets, it's about simplicity. Financial literacy is about small habits that will hopefully improve everything in your life. Things that you can repeat very, very quickly and very, very quietly in the background, month after month, shaping your way towards hopefully growing some wealth. And if you do this in 2026, I think genuinely it will change your life. Life is getting hard. The cost of living crisis is happening. So today we're going to talk about 6 very, very, very small habits that will change things. And they're very powerful. Behavior around money, for one, automation, investing, future proofing. So, yeah, I think it's time to take those finances to the next level. Now, the first habit and the most obvious one is making sure that your life will align to your income. You've probably heard of the whole de-influencing situation where you look on Instagram, you look all around you, and you see people with these flashy little cars or nice designer clobber. I want that. You need to write down, in my opinion, what matters to you. Do you want to have certain things? Why are you spending your money? What is your future priorities? If you've got children, whatever it may be. Then over a course of time, you can see, am I spending my money correctly? And if it's not, well, you need to get rid of it. Put it that way. It's not about spending less. It's about spending on what matters to you, realistically, right? It's kind of hopefully obvious to you. Your personal finances will feel in control. Do you need to buy a jumper every single week? Do you need to look the certain part for work? Do you need to do the thing every single morning to fit in? Like, I don't know, we'll go for a Costa coffee every single time. Get my point? If it doesn't match with you, don't do it. Now, habit number 2, and probably quite overlooked and important realistically, is doing a double check every single month or even every single quarter of the year. Now, this habit alone puts you ahead of most people because I know for a fact, and I can speak from experience, I often would leave certain things for too long. Say, for example, the subscriptions that you no longer use. Just get rid of it. Put it in the bin. You just need to do 3 simple things. Review what you did over the last month of spending. And stick around, I'll give you a bit of a tool that will help you with this. Check any progresses that you have towards any financial goals that you may have, whether you have saving pots that you need to get a grip of. And set a new focus for the following month. Keep it super simple. If you want to spend less, spend less. If you want to save more for your holiday, do that. If you want to do other things, do it. Set a goal. Keep an eye on it. Check in on it. It's not that hard. Now on the screen, there's a tool called Snoop. It's quite cool, actually. You'll like this. It cuts the cost of living and builds your savings very simply. Long story short, if you go into this app and you put it all in, you will see exactly where your bills go. From your family stuff, your groceries, your eating out, your shop, everything, right? It actually makes you want to cry sometimes. You can put everything in there, including any credit card spends. You will get quite easily for free on top of your whole plan for the future. And stick with that word future, because there's a lot of things that are going to be unpicked in a minute that will probably blow your minds a little bit. So there's a link below to this, totally free. Jump in on the app. I've been using it for a good few months now, and honestly, it's by far the most simplistic way of doing it. Instead of being bogged down with spreadsheets and being in tears about it because you've messed up, this is the way forward. Now, habit number 3 is quite obvious. Automate everything that you can. If something happens every single month, you need to automate it. I can't be any more simplistic as that, can it? Any bills? Obviously. Savings? Yes. Investing? We'll come on to that. Pensions? Yeah. Automation removes the power of emotion. And obviously that willpower that will come with it, because you will always go, I've got like 20 quid there. Oh, I should buy a Nando's with that, for example, instead of like doing something else with it. You need to basically move your money before you can spend it. And financial decisions are always worse when you've got emotion, right? This is, I think, what financially literate people do. They understand the finances, they know where it's going, what it's doing, they're giving it a job, regardless if it's saving, regardless if it's investing, they need to do something with it. It's called control. And you need to be a little bit of a control freak. I know it's sound a bit mental, but you do. If you are crap at this, you need to get a grip of it, and automation is one way to remove that. And yeah, start with one automation and move from there. You should already, if you're a homeowner or if you've got a house, be fully automatic with your house bills, your direct debits, your legal obligations to pay things. Why not have it for yourself? Kind of makes sense. And just talking from experience, recently me and the other half have just booked a little break in the Lake District where I'm from. And I don't have to pay for it until I actually arrive there. And I had the money sitting there. I just literally moved it out of my current account because I know for a fact I'd probably spend it. Habit number 4, and if you're in this channel, you should be liking, you should be subscribing to the videos and commenting here. Investing. This is what this channel is all about. Making wealth via investing, right? But realistically, there's some little platform steps you need to get to, which is what I'm covering today. So let's get into the obvious. You don't need to be perfectly timing the market every single time. You don't need to go into the signal groups and look at the little stock pickers and go, oh, Tesco's going to do well this week. Don't do that. You need 3 things. And I know it sounds obvious. You need time, obviously. You need to keep it simple with ETFs, for example. And the final one is consistency. Everything I've just talked about with automation should give you 2 of them already. Time and automation equals consistency. Now, even if it's 100 quid, 200 quid, whatever, every single month, it will build. No one's got 20 grand just to flop in the market, but over a period of 4 or 5 or 6 years, that will start to build, especially if you've put it in a stocks and shares ISA and you're not paying any tax on that and any income you've got is reinvested. This is how wealth is built slowly over time. And most people don't tend to fail because they've been investing badly or they picked the wrong things. It's because they either fail to start or they just quit halfway through because they're not seeing enough. 9 times out of 10, though, people just fail to start. I know for a fact that this is a thing because what would you rather do? Shop in Tesco and invest in Tesco? I know most people would rather do the opposite of like, oh, I'd rather just shop there and spend my money. I'd rather get paid by Tesco, to be honest, by holding the stock. I know it's not obvious, but it does make a difference when you're getting paid by a company that you love, use, and want to be a part of in a weird kind of way. Now, habit number 5 is probably the one that might get the most comments because often I see content around this and with other content creators, it's about spending as little as possible, but I don't agree with that. You need to think about the long term without hating your life now. That is the habit, right? We live in a world where it's instant gratification now. It's the instant scroll, the no adverts, the quick loading times. And it's like my 7-year-old's the best at this, by the way, because she's never experienced a life with adverts. She's never experienced like loading times or anything like that, where when, 34-year-old me waiting for dial-up or adverts or only having 4 or 5 TV channels, life's changed. Whereas technically, financial literacy is technically the opposite when you think about it. You are not going to be giving yourself instant gratification all the time. You can, but controlled, obviously. Now, I started looking longer term about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, technically, when I started investing, because I remember in the Air Force, when I was just starting out, we had a talk about money. And it was a really, really interesting talk because they got all these like older hierarchy people like the sergeants and the flight sergeants and stuff on the stage and they talked about money. And quite a lot of them were very, very blunt and said, well, I used to piss it up the wall during deployments. And that was kind of the culture. And it made me think about money. Now, the reason why I talk about this, and you don't have to hate your life, but you do have to have control because there's 3 things that this will give you, this little section alone. It'll give you time back, potentially, if you're starting now, because realistically, you can reduce your working hours. You can spend more time with family and not having to go hell-bent for leather when you're in your 50s. It will also give you options to do things. Money equals freedom, technically. I know it's the root of all evil, but you can have a bit of freedom with money. Money can allow you to do things. And then obviously security. If something goes wrong, guess what? You're all right, aren't you? Technically, you got something to fall back on. Now, I know people in the comments who go, "Oh, you can get hit by a bus tomorrow," but I'm not saying save everything. I'm just saying be careful with it. Understand that spending loads of money, basically, the missus downstairs is a total spender, and I'm the opposite. It's really funny. Why do people marry people like that? I don't get it, but you get the point. When you start thinking, I want to work less or I want to spend a bit more time with family, you'll start seeing, hopefully, with everything I've already talked about, a potential mindset shift. You'll go from potentially, as I've said before in my Instagram reels, a saver into an investor. But then there's always a one before that, which is normally spender, saver, then investor. But this doesn't mean stop everything. This doesn't mean go down the bargain aisle at Tesco and the yellow's ticket aisle. I mean, just understand money. And the final habit, and I think overlooked because what I'm doing is something that is kind of a true story. Spending money on skills, not crap, basically. I learned how to do video recordings via screen share. I've done this for a long time. I learned how to build websites in like 2009, maybe earlier than that, a long, long time ago. I learned how to do YouTube very early on. I did podcasts before podcasts were even a thing. You know, I just learned the way to do it. And this should be for you really too. Because the highest returns I've ever made was by self-development, by learning how to do things. And if you do things well and you learn, you might be able to make a bit more money here. Skills increase earnings. It could potentially save time and hopefully compound as well if you're thinking about it in a logical term, especially in a business sense. There's books, there's courses, there's tools to make you a better investor, and I'll come on to that in a minute. But sometimes it just makes sense to read a book, to understand certain logic, to become better at something that you are passionate about. Because that one skill could improve your quality of life, even if it is about finance, even if it is about how to save time or saving money in certain ways. Now, I invest in many tools. One of them is for my investments. I want to know a far end of a fart. I want to know what my profit is, what my passive income is, what the news is, what my dividends are going to be for the next year. Snowball Analytics is a link below, free trial. If you're an investor, invest in understanding your investments because it's the best way. You want to be ahead of the curve. And if you think about this in 2026 and then you do exactly the same things and you come back in 2030 and you've grown 20 grand out of nothing, sweet, awesome. That's about by being financial literate. And then in 2040, potentially, you could have 100K. You've got a nest egg where you can fall back on a security. You've got options. There's so many things here you could talk about. You are not hopefully chasing the next big thing. You are hopefully chasing potentially freedom, which, as I say, money gives you that. And if you want to keep it simple, if you want to talk about personal finance and the basics around the UK money, subscribe to this channel, please. It will mean an awful lot. I am quite new around here. And I'm hoping that I've motivated a few of you. There's also a link below to my website. It's brand new. It's squeaky clean. We are building in public. It's going to take a bit of time, but there's going to be a lot of things going on there. There's a link below. Feel free to check it out. And if you've not yet done so, watch this video. It's all about investing.